378 Omicron cases in India, 114 have recovered, but the government gives an indication that no country can boost itself out of a pandemic. This, when Omicron is doubling in the country between 1.5 to 3 days, and 20 districts have a positivity rate going from 5 to 10%. Delhi has 118 new COVID cases in the past 24 hours, and globally figures not encouraging. In Jaisalmer, a MiG-21 plane crash has been reported, and Air Force now confirming the pilot has not survived. Ludhiana caught blast. The bomber turns out to be a dismissed cop. He was dismissed from service in a drug-related case. Hindutva activists disrupt Christmas celebration. Goons claim school selective in celebration. In UP, curfew at night but rallies in the day. Politicians brazen despite court's suggestion to postpone the election. Girls in Kerala school demand and get uniform treatment, gender-neutral uniforms, despite protests outside their schools for girls. And on NDTV, Kylie Minogue Unplugged has a special song for India.
I want chicky wiggy with you, boy. I want a chicky wiggy with you. I want a chicky wiggy with you. I want a chicky wiggy with you, baby.
Hello and welcome. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. You're watching NDTV. Tragic news coming in of a MiG-21 fighter aircraft that has crashed in Rajasthan's Jaisalmer, and the pilot there has not survived. The Indian Air Force in that tweet says, with deep sorrow, the Indian Air Force conveys the sad demise of Wing Commander Harshit Sinha in the flying accident this evening and stands firmly with the family of the braveheart. Harsha Kumari Singh joins us with the latest. Harsha.
Well, yes, at about 8:30 when apparently this was a routine sortie which had taken off from that area, that the forest officials actually reported the crash because this was at the Desert National Park, which is in the some area of Jaisalmer, close to the Indo-Pak border. And in this Desert National Park is actually a reserve sort of area. It's not really a forest because it's in the desert, but it's famous for the Indian bustard. It's one of the protected areas, and that's where the crash happened. The forest official officer on duty, the forest guard, then informed the police, who rushed to the spot. The SP himself also rushed to the spot. It's about 70 kilometers from Jaisalmer. And yes, that very, very unfortunate news about the pilot not surviving the crash, because initially when the plane debris was located, they did take them a while they were looking for the pilot, and now we've been told by the Indian Air Force that the pilot has not survived.
All right, tragic news indeed. Condolences to the family of the pilot as well. Thanks, Harsha, for joining us with the very latest. Meanwhile, in the Ludhiana district court blast, we told you that the body of the person who had died had been identified, and the police had said that he was indeed the bomber. But now details coming in that he was actually a former cop, a head constable. He was dismissed from service in 2019 and he spent 2 years in jail as well. Released later, but apparently his involvement was in a drugs case. Ghazali joins us for the very latest. Ghazali, this is a tragic twist to the tale.
Yes, certainly. An identification has been ascertained. He is identified as Gagandeep Singh, the constable of Khanna Police. Khanna is a police district, but used district-wide location comes Ludhiana district only. So this dismissed cop Gagandeep Singh was held by the Special Task Force of the Punjab Police with 385 grams of heroin in August 2019 and booked under NDPS Act, and was later dismissed from the police service. The Chief Minister as well as the Police Commissioner of Ludhiana since yesterday have been confirming this, that the person who died, now identified as Gagandeep Singh, either was close to the blast site or had triggered that blast. But from all the sources in the Punjab police and state government, he is perceived to be the bomber, identified as Gagandeep Singh.
All right, Ghazali there bringing us up to speed. And now the first pictures of the former cop and now the alleged bomber in the case also coming out. All right, switching tracks to the latest in Omicron now, 378 cases in India as of now and 114 have recovered. This coming at a time when the government has quoted WHO saying that no country can boost its way out of a pandemic. Is that an indication on which way India will really go? What's troubling is that it's coming at a time when Omicron is doubling at a speed of 1.5 day to about 3 days time. In about 20 districts, the positivity rate has already gone between the 5 to 10% ratio. Globally also, the numbers seem to be rising. And in several places, especially in metros, Delhi and Mumbai, showing high numbers. Let's look at the India map and how those cases are panned out. Like we said, 378 Omicron cases so far, 114 recovered, 108 of them in Maharashtra, 67 in Delhi, Telangana 38, Tamil Nadu 34. Towards single digits, we've got Uttarakhand, even Ladakh having a case now, Chandigarh 1, Uttar Pradesh 2, Andhra Pradesh 2, West Bengal 3. So that was Omicron. What about the overall COVID figures? Well, 6,650 new cases in the past 24 hours. Deaths reported in the past 24 hours are 374. Vaccination, not very impressive, stays at about 62 lakh over there. And the positivity rate overall quite low, but sort of coming out, like we said, in certain areas as quite high at the moment.
तो इस प्रकार 22 जिले ऐसे हैं देश में जो कि हमारे लिए चिंता का विषय हैं और इन राज्यों से जिनमें ये जिले स्थित हैं हम लगातार कंसल्टेशन में हैं, परामर्श में हैं. ग्लोबली द केस पॉजिटिविटी इज मोर देन 6%. In India, the case positivity is 5.3%. So while these numbers are low, however, as I have submitted earlier, we must keep up our guard and we must be vigilant. WHO ने एक ब्रीफिंग आयोजित की, उसमें WHO के डायरेक्टर जनरल ने ये बोला कि ये डेल्टा वेरिएंट के मुकाबले अधिक तेज रफ्तार से फैल रहा है. उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि ब्लैंकेट यूज ऑफ बूस्टर डोजेज के प्रति सावधान रहने की आवश्यकता है. क्यों? उसका उन्होंने कारण दिया. उन्होंने ये कहा, नो कंट्री कैन बूस्ट इट्स वे आउट ऑफ द पेंडेमिक and boosters cannot be seen as ticket to go ahead with planned celebrations without the need for other precautions.
And just today evening, on the eve of Christmas, lots of restrictions, especially night curfews coming in across various states. In Haryana, for example, starting 25th, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. will be the night curfew. After MP, now UP has also announced night curfew, that in UP it will be from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting Saturday. And this coming at a time when in Delhi 180 new cases have been found just in the past 24 hours, which is at a 6-month high. Already in Mumbai, 683 new cases, again the highest since October 6th. But remember, in several places we've talked about how night curfew has been put in, but what about day curfew when actual rallies are taking place? We've not heard any word on that. But let's also bring you the latest curbs that have been imposed in Maharashtra. Starting midnight tonight there, the government has put a restriction on the number of people gathering, not more than 5 between 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Not more than 100 people allowed in any indoor wedding, not more than 250 at an outdoor wedding. 50% capacity for people at gyms, spas, hotel, theatres and cinemas as well. And even if you're going out to play, there is a restriction over there. So like we said, 24 hours after the Allahabad, the High Court urged Election Commission and even Prime Minister Modi to postpone the upcoming Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections by a month or two and ban all election-related gatherings in the state over fears of Omicron. Political rallies, events went on just as usual and the defiant netas passed the buck. The state isn't seeing a major surge in COVID cases just yet, but the state government says it is worried and thus imposing night curfew. Night curfew when all the rallies happen during the day.
अध्यक्ष जी, इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने कल टिप्पणी की है कि चुनाव को
सरकार को राय दी है उन्होंने कि इसमें चुनाव होना जरूरी है क्या?
आपका क्या रिएक्शन है? आपका क्या रिएक्शन है?
The Uttar Pradesh BJP chief refusing to take questions over growing concerns about an Omicron-driven COVID surge in the poll-bound state. Flagged by the Allahabad High Court on Thursday, which urged the Election Commission of India and postpone the UP Assembly election due early next year.
एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोजीशन होगी और जो भी एक आरपीएट के मद्देनजर जो भी चीज़ होगी वो हम लोग उसमें डेफिनेटली एक्शन लेंगे. हम अगले हफ्ते उत्तर प्रदेश जाएंगे और वहाँ भी हम सब समीक्षा करेंगे. उसके बाद जो भी उचित निर्णय किया जाएगा कमीशन में बैठकर वो हम लोग करेंगे.
जहाँ तक माननीय उच्च न्यायालय का प्रश्न है या माननीय निर्वाचन आयोग का प्रश्न है, उस पर हम आप सहमत होंगे कि इस मंच पर कमेंट नहीं करना चाहेंगे.
24 hours after the High Court's observations, there was no change on the ground in the state. Rallies across the political spectrum carried on as usual with hardly any COVID protocol. BJP yatras continued today across Uttar Pradesh. A Bahujan Samaj Party meeting was held in Prayagraj and a Samajwadi Party event took place in Azamgarh.
चुनाव जब होता है,
There were brazen justifications from politicians.
अभी इस स्थिति में नहीं बढ़ा है कि पार्टी पहले से कार्यक्रम अपना रोक दे.
हाई कोर्ट ने भी कोई निर्देश नहीं दिया, उन्होंने भी एक सलाह दी है. इसका निर्णय इलेक्शन कमीशन अंततः करता है.
पूरा कोविड काल में ही तो बंगाल का चुनाव हुआ, तो संवैधानिक बाध्यता है. चुनाव टालने की बात असंवैधानिक.
ये फैसला तो सबको मिलकर के लेना चाहिए. भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपने हित के हिसाब से उनकी सरकार निर्णय लेने का काम करती है.
The Uttar Pradesh government has reimposed a night curfew starting Saturday, but when it comes to political rallies and thousands of people turning up at them unmasked with zero COVID protocol, it seems our netas are unwilling to walk the talk. With Ashok Kashyap, Vinod and Arshad, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Meanwhile, internationally cases have been going up as well, and UK meanwhile has reported over 122,000 cases. That's the biggest one-day increase on record for United Kingdom, which is now seeing an Omicron-led surge one more time. All right, moving on. After churches and prayer meets, the Hindutva hooligans have reached out to the corridors of schools in Karnataka. A peaceful Christmas celebration by students was interrupted by a group of Hindutva right-wing groups. This is the second attack on a day when Karnataka Legislative Assembly actually passed the contentious anti-conversion bill.
Hindutva activists shouting slogans, getting into altercation with the principal of a Christian school, the Nirmala English High School and College in town, in Mandya district, east of Bengaluru. A peaceful Christmas celebration disrupted. They claim the school is selective in celebrating Christmas.
ಪೋಷಕರೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟದ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಇದು, ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾವು ಕೈಗೆ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೋಷಕರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ನೀವು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು.
One of the goons issues a warning. School management has filed a complaint with the Mandya police. However, no arrests have been made thus far. With the ongoing attacks on Christians, the Archbishop of Bengaluru, Peter Machado, now fears whether the Christian community can celebrate Christmas in peace.
So without the legislation, if this can happen, you can imagine what will happen when the legislation is passed. Everyone will carry this legislation in their pockets and everyone will try to do justice, try to find faults with us for anything. Perhaps I don't think we can even celebrate Christmas properly.
This is 9th such incident where Christians have been targeted since September this year, and the second such incident in the past 48 hours, since the BJP-led Karnataka government passed the controversial anti-conversion bill. In Bengaluru, Shrija for NDTV.
A reward after a rebellion. Is that the story of Harish Rawat, who led the Congress campaign, who will now in fact be leading the Congress campaign in Uttarakhand? Rahul Gandhi met with Mr. Rawat after several tweets where he had challenged the party. He said that, he was not happy with the way things were going. But things seem to have resolved much quickly for him than they did for the Congress party in the state of Punjab, where ironically Harish Rawat was the one doing the peacekeeping between the centre and the central leadership and the state leadership. However, after that announcement, he says, "I'm completely satisfied and we all must be united." To Kerala now. As schools close for holidays, we bring you this season's newsmakers from Kozhikode. They're smart, they're fun, they're strong. They are girls who demanded for more comfortable uniforms and now wear a uniform code, similar shirts and pants as boys in school.
Girls at Kozhikode's Government Girls Higher Secondary School in Balusheri say it is more than a symbolic statement that they too, like the boys, now don shirts and pants to school. The girls say they love their unisex, gender-neutral uniform. This is one of the first government schools in the state to make this transition mid-term for senior students.
I'm really comfortable and confident in this uniform, and this uniform gives me more confidence. This is easy to wear and easy for traveling also. ആൺകുട്ടികളെയും പെൺകുട്ടികളെയും ഒരു ജെൻഡർ വ്യത്യാസമില്ലാതെ ന്യൂട്രൽ ആയിട്ട് കാണുക, ഒരേപോലെ കാണുക എന്നൊരു സന്ദേശമാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ ഇതിലൂടെ കൊടുക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ എല്ലാം ഇതൊരു ചവിട്ടുപടിയായിട്ടാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നത്. ഇനിയും മാറ്റങ്ങൾ ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നു.
The students say they themselves had asked for the change, and the new dress code was implemented after much debate and discussion.
Actually, the second year students of this school wear the traditional uniforms. That is, they wear a churidar and a waistcoat over that. And those students told us that it was very uncomfortable, and we thought of changing the uniform, and we made a suggestion before the PTA, Parents Teachers Association Committee, and they wholeheartedly supported our decision for changing the uniform.
There were initially some protests outside the school over what the girls should wear, but the students insist they have a right to choose comfort.
Talking about the protest that is going on outside our school, we have nothing to say. I think they are blind. Change is necessary, but people are not ready to accept change.
Families have been supportive too.
യൂണിഫോം ഇങ്ങനെ ജെൻഡർ ന്യൂട്രൽ ആക്കിയതിന് ശേഷം എൻ്റെ വീട്ടിലൊക്കെ ഭയങ്കര സപ്പോർട്ടായിരുന്നു. വീട്ടിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തന്നെ അവർ പറഞ്ഞു നല്ല കാര്യമാണ്, ഇങ്ങനെ ഓരോ ചെറിയ കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ കൂടിയാണ് നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിൽ മാറ്റങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാവേണ്ടത്.
Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
All right, and pop star Kylie Minogue is out with a new album, Disco, but as she spoke with NDTV, she also sort of went back in time and remembered her favorite Bollywood number. Listen in.
Everybody has their favorite Kylie song. I just want to ask you, if when you look back, which were the songs that were like a turning point in your career?
Well, I would have to start with The Locomotion because that was my first.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even have a record contract. I just recorded it as a demo.
Okay.
With some dreams. So Locomotion, but then once I was up and running, Better the Devil You Know, for sure. Then Confide in Me. There's a few. Then Spinning Around.
Right.
No, I would say those are the three.
Those are the three, right? And then comes Disco. Do you want to tell the audience that's watching this interview right now what all should they expect in this one?
What to expect from Disco? You might not be sitting down very long. The album only has, I think, like 2 not so up moments.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to do a deep dive into disco, which wasn't quite as straightforward as I may have thought initially. You know, when you're referencing incredible, timeless disco songs, disco classics, it took a while to find my entrance point without just sounding like a terrible copy of an amazing disco song. You know, not to go, well, that's the bass line from that, or that's the guitar lick, or, you know, to find my way. So it's mostly a disco party.
Kylie, on NDTV, we have never had a singer and not asked them to sing a few lines. Do you think you can sing just 2 lines for our viewers who are watching this interview?
Oh my gosh, which song?
Your wish, your
well, okay. Can I do 2?
You can do
the
3.
first one. I think you're gonna know. La 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 la. That's the easy one.
Okay.
I just can't get you out of my head. Boy, your loving is all I think about. And then the other one is I want a chicky wicky with you, boy. I want a chicky wicky with you. I want a chicky wicky with you. I want a chicky wicky with you, baby. That's my favorite. I love seeing people dance to Chiggy Wiggy.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful.
I probably sang that a little incorrectly. All I ever sing is, I want a Chiggy Wiggy with you, boy.
Kylie, all I can say is that the magic is still very much there. We would love to see you in India. We would love to see you perform.
Well, yes, it's on my bucket list. I haven't performed in India. Yeah. It amazes me that you know my songs and you're waiting with open arms, so I can't wait to come and visit.
All right, with that, it's a goodbye from us. Merry Christmas, everyone. Stay safe.